Kal Kadosh, Boker Or, Shavua Tov, Masechet Avodah Zarah, Daf Yomi, Daf Lametet Amud Aleph 39a1. Says the Gemara, we're on the two dots, which is the second line. The second line says, V'tarit tirufa v'tzir shem b'daga. We're talking about minced tarit and brine that does not have kilbit fish swimming in it, and the chilak. So what is the chilak? My chilak, what does that mean here? Right? Again, we were going back on the Mishnah. So the Gemara says, Amar Nachman bar Abba Amar Rav. Says of Nachman bar Abba, name of Rav. Zu sultanit. This is sultanit, which is a fish that only develops fins and scales when it matures. Remember that for you to have a kosher fish, you need fins and scales. But it only is going to develop when it matures. So why is it forbidden? Because yirvona olaima. What does that mean, yirvona olaima? It says because it's going to come and it's going to be, it goes up with it. The mixture goes up with it. Okay, that means the non-kosher fish goes together with it. So you don't know if it's kosher or not kosher. So what happens right now if it doesn't have fins and scales? But afterwards it will have it. For example, it's permitted. If it has it now, and then it comes off when you pick it up from the sea. Meaning certain fish, when you take it out of the sea, it sheds its scales. So kigon, for example, so you have all these different types of fish. Mutar, it's also mutar, right? By the way, if I remember correctly, I think there's even a swordfish. There's a whole thing on that. That there's certain type of fish, mamash, and when they come out, it sheds its scales. And then when you actually see it, you say, hey, it doesn't have any scales, but you know it's kosher or not. So there's a whole question about that.
All right.
Yeah, so he says, Achriz, Rabbi Avu. Yeah, no, certain people had a masoret, by the way, about the swordfish. Right? Certain people had a masoret about that, about that they were able to...
No?
Yeah, that's what I said. There's certain people had a masoret to eat it. Right? But it's not that simple. We actually see it, it doesn't have scales. But some people say that they had scales and they shed it when it comes out. Meaning when it comes out of the water, it sheds the scales.
But Rabbi, isn't there a concept that if they have scales, they have fins, and if they have fins, they have scales?
Yeah. That's a Mishnah Nida. The Mishnah says over there, anything that has scales has fins.
Yes. Yeah.
But if it does not, if it has fins, it doesn't always mean that it has scales.
If it has scales, it has fins.
Meaning all you have to check, not the other way around. That's why the only thing you always have to check is check the kaskeset. The kaskeset is the scales. Check the scales, as long as there's scales, kosher. That's it. You don't have to check anything else.
אם יש קסקסת, אז זה כשר.
אז יהיה קשה. אם יש קסקסת, יש את הסנפית.
נפיר.
Yeah. So כי had Amar Rabbi, just like Rabbi comes and he says, right? Sorry. Achriz Rabbi Avu bekesari. So Rabbi Avu announced in Kesaria. Trive dagim ubaran. Nikachim mikol adam. The fatty innards of the flesh of their eggs may be brought from any person. Katan enam ba'im elam mipulsa ve'aspamia. So they are actually coming from Pilusia and Aspamia, where non-kosher fish are not commonly found. Okay? They actually say that Aspamia, many times they say is Spain. Just like Abaye said, this tzachanta, which is chilak from this river, is permitted because it doesn't have any non-similar non-kosher fish. Meaning as long as the fish were always kosher there, so if I'm not going to suspect that there's going to be non-kosher fish mixed up with it. My time out, what's reasoning? If it's going to be because the water's running after it, they can't be in this place. We see that it's there. Meaning you remember that we brought down that in order for a fish to be kosher, it has to be able to swim against the current. So that's what we just mentioned now. If it doesn't have a chuta shidra, which is a spine, it cannot survive in a place where the waters flow forcefully because it's going to blow it away. It's just going to rush it away. You can't do that. So he says, but rather because the waters are salty. The haydag tamin, it's a non-kosher fish. Since it doesn't have scales, it can't be with the salt irritates the skin too much. If it's got scales, the scales protects the fish's skin. And therefore it could be there. But if it's too salty and there's no scales, it can't survive. So ask the Gemara, but we say it does survive. He says because rather the silt of its bed does not promote the development of non-kosher fish, which means the silt of the water of Prusia and Espana, they don't promote the growth of non-kosher fish. And therefore we say that it's probably going to be kosher, which is something incredible. That you see that even in certain parts of the sea, it's more apt of having kosher fish or not. Mamash, like something incredible. Like this is more fitting to have kosher fish. Okay? Amar Ravina. So Ravina comes and he says, Haina de kashafte be nehar goza nehar gamda. Nowadays you have the rivers of Goza and Gamda flowing into this river, of the Bab River. It's a sur. Why? Because now you do have the non-kosher fish coming in. Because basically, since you have other rivers coming inside, you're going to have non-kosher fish being brought inside of this river. So Amar Abaye says, Hai chamra diyamashari, the sea donkey is permitted. Meaning, remember, whatever type of animals you have on the land, you have in the sea as well. So there's something which is called a sea donkey. It's like a donkey, right? I see a lot of donkeys, right? But I'm saying, but here we're talking about the sea donkey in the sea, not the ones on land. Yeah.
מכיר? sea donkey?
Yeah, with the telephone. Yeah. So he says, right? I chamra diyama shari. Right? He says Torah diyama.
I missed that.
Okay. If it's a sea ox, it's going to be forbidden. So again, one more time. The sea donkey is permitted, is mutar, but the sea ox is forbidden. The simanach tameh taor tameh. I'm going to ask you a question. Ronen, right? Is a donkey on land kosher or not kosher?
Not kosher.
Not kosher. In the sea?
Not kosher.
Kosher. Next. Right? An ox on land.
אבל מה זה sea donkey? מה זה?
One minute. An ox, is it kosher or not kosher?
Kosher.
In the sea ox?
Not kosher.
Not kosher. Chazak Baruch. Now you learned the trick.
That's
the opposite. Concept? That's the concept. Simanech. What's a siman? Tameh, tahor, tameh.
Okay, אבל מה זה sea donkey, sea ox?
These are types of fish. The Gemara and Chulin says all
the
land animals.
Okay.
So look, there's a fish which is not just.
אז רגע, סוס ים זה כשר, הרב?
Which one?
סוס ים.
לא דיברנו על סוס ים, דיברנו על חמור ים.
לא, אני יודע, אבל אמרת עכשיו, נתת דוגמאות של חיות.
אני לא יודע, לא דיברנו על זה עדיין.
אמרת סוס, זה לא כשר, נכון?
לא, רק השתיים האלו, רק דיברנו על חמור ושור. On the ox and the חמור, the donkey.
רק על אלה?
רק על אלה, לא דיברנו על שום דבר אחר.
סוס ים זה לא כשר.
זה סוס כשר?
לא.
לא נדע לי, אני לא יודע.
אז לא ולא.
לא, רק לדונקי ולאוקס. זה ההפוך.
Yeah, those are the two there. Ika damri, there are those that say, Kevar nuna, asur. Kevar nuna is a fish, is forbidden. The simanech, what's a siman? Right? He says, Kivrei Avodah Kochavim.
מה קרישי דונקי?
אתה קריש. Yeah? Idol worship.
Garder un de mer.
You have there or not?
יש כריש פה, הרב. פה.
Dieu par une chèvre à la mer.
Yeah, okay. Fine. Rabbi Akiva ikla leginzi. So Rabbi Akiva, he went and he visited a place called Ginza. He saw a fish that looked like a chipusha fish. He covered the fish with a basket. So he saw the scales, right, on the walls of the basket. So he permitted it. Mamash, he saw a non-kosher fish, but he put it in the basket, and then when he took out the basket, he saw the scales. So, okay, so it's kosher. Ravashi le Tamduria. Ravashi visited a place called Tamduria. He saw like something which was like an eel. An eel is not kosher. He held it against the sun, and he saw again that they had the sprouts, they had scales. Again, permitted it. Ravashi visited the place. Right? And Shafrununa. Again, he covered it with a white bowl, and he saw that it had scales. Again, permitted it. They brought him tzachanta fish, which is like chilat. Right? He heard a person that was saying he heard it calling it bateh. Right? And he says, right? He says like this. He says, Amar since he's calling it bateh, it's tameh. So he didn't eat it. In the morning, he examined it and he found again the tameh, but he saw the tameh with it. So he says, Lo yuneh tzaddik korabim. Many times the tzaddikim are going to be protected, that no matter what, nothing bad will happen to them. So the same thing over here. Nothing bad will happen to them. Okay? So that means basically because, again, he didn't eat it only because he knew that there was non-kosher fish that was mixed up with it as well. Okay? Fine. Next. 2 dots. Kurt shel chitit. My tama. What's the reasoning about the kurt shel chitit that it's going to be forbidden? So mishum de mefasker lebasakina. He says because it's cut with a non-kosher knife. Meaning sometimes if they're going to take a non-kosher knife and they're going to cut it, it's going to be a problem. Okay? So he says mishum. So he says like this. Even though it says no tentam nikam mutar, even though usually we say no tentam nikam is going to be mutar. Agav churpe dechilti, since it's going to be so spicy, machlale, he comes and he says, shamnumita, it sweetens the non-kosher fats of the knife, but when it's going to be asur. Avde de Rabbi Levi, have a kamazav chiltit. So the servant of Rabbi Levi would sell chiltit. Kinachnam shed Rabbi Levi, when he went and he saw that Rabbi Levi passed away, he went in front of Rabbi Yochanan. Amrule, and he said, can I sell it? Can I buy it or not? The servant of a chaver is like a chaver. Sometimes you have a servant of a rabbi is like a rabbi. Why? He learned so much that he knows. So therefore he permitted him to buy chiltit, just like Rabbi Levi's servant as well. So Rav Huna bar Menyoma zaman techilta meinshe debete de Rav Amram Chasida. He went and he bought chelet from the wife of Rav Amram Chasida. The after came in front of Yosef, but he didn't know what to do with it. He met this tailor. And he said, Yosef Anya Menale. From where would poor Yosef have an answer? But it happened to me. I bought chile from the wife of Ravana, the brother of Ruchia Baraba. He came in front of Matra, right? And he says every day he didn't have the answer. He came in front of Yehuda from Lagronia. It fell into my hand. This is what Shmuel says, which means that the wife of Rav Amram Chasida could be trusted just like the rabbi. Meaning the wife of a rabbi is just like a rabbi, that they could be trusted in selling things, and it's not that we're going to suspect them of doing foul play, right? Of doing different things. Okay? The Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in the Braita, Eshet chaver ereu kechaver. So he says, Avdo shel chaver ereu kechaver. So the Eved of a chaver is like a chaver. Chaver shemet. When you have a chaver,
Moshi, come say hi.
איך אתה רואה אותו?
Moshi,
he can't hear you. He can't hear you.
עזוב אותו,
tell him to come say hi.
הוא
He
גולש.
says, chaver shemet. He says, Ishto vanav ubnei beto arem becheskatan. Even if he died, his wife and children are the same chazakah. Ad shechashnu, until you're going to suspect them. Ken chatzer shemochli bat chelet. It's the same chatzer that sells chelet. But becheskatan shetipatzel until it becomes disqualified. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in the Braita. Okay? Eshet ha'ma'aretz. Shenisel lechaver. What happens if you have a wife of an ha'ma'aretz that gets married to a chaver? V'chen bito shel ha'ma'aretz. So the daughter of an ha'ma'aretz gets married to a chaver. So the servant of a man that gets to a chaver. Kulam tzrichim lekabel divrei chaverut. They have to accept upon themselves the rules of chaverut, right? And that means basically they have to accept upon themselves in order to be trustworthy. Aval eshet chaver shenisel ha'ma'aretz. The opposite way, an eshet chaver that she gets married to an ha'ma'aretz, or the daughter of a chaver that gets married to an ha'ma'aretz, or an eved of a chaver that gets married to an ha'ma'aretz, and tzrichim divrei chaverut t'chila. These are the words that Rabbi mean, meaning that they're still trusted. Rabbi Yehuda says no. לקבל דברי חברות, they do have to. לכן שמעון ולעזר אומר, מעשה באישה אחת, שניסה לחבר, והייתה קשה לו תפילין על ידו, ניסה למוחץ, והייתה קשה לו קשה מוחץ על ידו. Meaning, the woman many times were just. At the beginning, she was married to a big rabbi, so she was tying him the tefillin and everything. And afterwards, she got married to a moches, to a tax collector, and she was doing all these other things for him as well. Meaning, she adjusted the way that it is. Okay? So therefore, that's what he says here, that when the wife of a chaver is married to a chaver, she's not going to do any sins, chas shalom. But if it's the opposite way, when ha'ma'aretz, it could be she'll become like him. She'll come and she'll do like him. So Amar Rav comes, and he says, as follows. Amar Rav says,
לפעמים האישה מחזירה את הגבר
אתה
בתשובה,
צודק ב-100%, אבל פה השאלה לגבי הנאמנות, to do with trustworthiness. That even though, because once she's married to him, it could be that she's going to find favor in his eyes, and then she's not going to do something properly. Okay? So Amar Rav comes and he says, Chavit asur bechotam achad, Hampag mutar bechotam echad. Well, what does that mean? Chavit, a barrel. He said, no, it's an acronym. Rashi Tevot. It's an acronym. Chavit is going to be asur with one chotem, but the champag is going to be mutar with one chotem. So now let's explain. What is the chavit? Chalav, basar, yain, tchelet, milk, meat, wine, and tchelet. That's chavit. So that's going to be mutar with one chotam. Lamentet Mubes, 39.
מה זה תכלת?
Tchelet, for the tzitzit.
ציצית כאילו? אוקיי.
Okay? So all these things are, one chotam is mutar.
לא, חותם.
If it's going to be asurim bechotam echad, but it says, but there's other things which are going to be prohibited. What is that? So chalav, basar, yain, tchelet are going to be, right, are going to be asurim bechotam echad. Hiltit, murias, pat, gvina, that's a champag. It's going to be mutar bechotam echad. Meaning like this, basar is doraita. Yain is doraita. Right? Chalav is doraita. Tchelet is doraita. So in all these things, if you only have one chotem, one signature, one seal, yeah, if you only have one seal, it's a sul. Because it's very easy to forge it with one seal. You need chotam betoch chotam. You need a seal within another
בסין
seal.
מביאים את הכשרות גם.
Exactly, 100%. That's why when you buy something in Uber Eats, if it's going to be things which is Rabbanan, it's enough one chotem, one signature. But if not, they have to do like a seal within a seal. So they'll sell it to you closed and then sealed, like, double knotted with another tape and that to do a seal within a seal. Okay? What are you going to suspect for bread? If it's going to be, you're going to change it. You know if it's hot or cold. And you also know if it's going to be wheat or barley. If they're going to be the same, once it's going to be one seal, you're not going to forge it. According to Rab, why is it that gvina you're not going to forge, and chalav also you shouldn't forge? Meaning, why is it that cheese you're not going to forge, but milk yes? So Rav Kana says a peak chalav. You're right. You have to take off chalav.
אמרנו שחלב טמא לא יכול להפוך לגבינה.
יפה מאוד. Yeah, you're right. And that's what we said. We took out gvina. We took out milk. Milk, there's no problem. We took out a slice of fish that does not have a sign. So says the Gemara, so that means this dag is also doraita, just like the meat. So says the Gemara, hainu basar. He says, no, it's meat. He says, you're right. Basar. It's two types of meat. It's like the fish meat and animal meat. You're right. It's dag. That means milk is enough one chotam. Fish, you need two chotams. Shmuel says, bait asur bechotam echad, machag mutar bechotam echad. Bait. He doesn't say, what was the other one? The other one was chavit. Chet with the chalav. So he just says now without the chet. It's just bite, right? And the machad. Basar yain and tchelet, asurim echot mechad, murias chelti gvina, mutarim. L'shmuel chatichat dag shem basiman, hainu basar. And according to Shmuel, tzelam shos, fish, la poisson. How do you say poisson?
Poisson.
Yeah, the dag, right, is the same as the meat. Okay, today Gavne basar lo amrinan. Right? And the other one, he says, we don't say two different types of meats. So Tanu Rabbi, we learned to the Raita. En lochin yamach, mahag beSuria. You're not allowed to buy yimach and mechag in Syria. Lo yain velo murias velo chalav velo melach selandukiv lo chiltiv lo gvina. These are all these things. Ela mina mumche, but somebody that's reliable. Vekulanim nitarech etze balabait mutar. But if one guest was at the house, it's permitted for him to eat while the host serves him. Mesayel Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, this is a proof to Yoshua ben Levi. Yoshua ben Levi says to Yoshua ben Levi, Shigelo balabait leveto mutar. If the balabait sends it to his house, can be permitted. My Talmud's reasoning. Meaning, if the balabait is going to send it to his own house, it's permitted. Because he's never going to serve his own family members isur if he has heter. He would sell it to you isur, yes, but he's not going to serve it to himself. Meaning, if I have heter meat, I'm not going to serve it to my own family. If I'm going to sell it to other people, yeah, I want to make the buck. Yeah, I want to make money. That could be. But I'm not going to do it to somebody else. And when he sends a gift, it's what he eats from himself he's sending him. Okay? Next two dots. Melach seladukrit. What is this type of salt? It's a salt that all the bakers of Rome, they eat it. Right? If it's black, it's prohibited. If it's white, it's permitted. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda says, if it's white, it's forbidden. If it's black, it's permitted. Rabbi Yehuda ben Gamliel says the name of Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel. He says, Zo vezo asura, they're both prohibited. So Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, Rabbi Yochanan, Ledivrei omer levana asura, according to the mandament that says it's going to be white, it's permitted, it's prohibited. Kirvei dagim levanim tumim yorovim ba. That's because they're mixed into it, the non-kosher fish. According to Mandama Shechora Asura, so then you have the other one, which is going to be mixed non-kosher fish. But according to them, since they're both prohibited, they're always mixed together. Meaning you have the non-kosher fish mixed together with the white and the black, and therefore you're not allowed to eat it. He would coat the surface with shuman chazir, with the pig's lard, the shuman, the fats. Okay? The last part before the Mishnah, what is it coming to exclude? If it's known, and according to Rabbi Yochanan, this is certain types of fish, certain types of murias and cheese. And according to Rabbi Meir. Okay, let's do the Mishnah, and then we'll do the Gemara until the 2 dots on the bottom. Mishnah says, these are the things which are going to be permitted. Meaning, even though the goy is milking the cow, but the Jew's watching him, then it's permitted. Okay? Dvash, honey. Grape clusters, even though they're dripping. There's no problem of mashke. Remember that in order for a fruit to become susceptible for tumah, you have to have one of the 7 liquids coming that you want it there. So here it's not going to become susceptible for tumah. Or anything which is not normal to put wine and vinegar in it. The tarit or tarit that is not minced. Or brine that has in it is kilbit, fish. Or leaf of kiltit. Or cakes of salted and olives. It's going to be permitted. The same halacha applies to truma. So let's analyze the Mishnah. Says the Gemara. Tanina had the Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in a Braita. Yosef, he said, meaning the Jew could be right by the idol worshipper's herd. The goy is milking the animal, and then he could give it to the how do you call this? He could give it to the Jew to drink. Now says the Gemara, Pshita diika davar tameh bedro amai. Now 1 second. If there's something tameh, why? Maybe he went to the pig and he gave it to him. So he says, Leolam diika davar, there is davar tameh. But once he sees him, right? Since he could see him, but when he's sitting, he cannot see him. Meaning, he could actually see, the Jew could see him when he's standing, but he cannot see him when he's sitting. So I would have thought to say, since when he's sitting, he can't see him, so I'm going to suspect maybe he's going to start mixing it together. Since he could still stand, he's miltat. He's afraid of him. Meaning at any time, the Jew could just stand up and catch him. He's not going to do anything. Because you could just stand up. What are you doing? I call you with the phone. You're trying to record me.
And camera is what? Camera?
But
yes, that's what we spoke about. We gave an entire shiur on that. On the cameras nowadays, Tnuba uses cameras to make it to be Chalav Yisrael, yes.
But is it the same idea that the mashgiach can give the goy to wash the lettuce?
No, because there it's he doesn't care about the small little tiny bugs and he doesn't even see them, so it's a little bit different.
I said to wash the lettuce, but the actual verification.
That yes, 100%, because the Jew only needs to verify it; it doesn't have to wash it. Yeah.
What about Tvila in the mikveh?
No, that the Jew has to do. Dvash, honey. Okay, so he says like this: Dvash l'manei choshle. What are we going to suspect now? If it's going to be because of mixing, it will become spoiled. If it's because of bishul goy, right? You could eat it raw. If it's because of the pots, then it becomes mutar. So therefore, there's no problem. That's why the dvash is mutar. Okay, yes, that means you could buy non-kosher honey, but that's why you just need the OU. But it's cooked by the goyim. It's not.
Okay,
so if it's pure 100% honey, yes, it's mutar. Davdaniyot, we're almost finished. Davdaniyot of Nishim Netafot, Emaim Hashem Yishkem. Meaning we have a contradiction. Shammai Omer Uchshar, Hillel Omer Lo Uchshar. The Oziel Hillel Shammai, so he agrees to Shammai. Hatam Kabayel Mashke. There you need it for the Mashke. Haka Lo Bayel Mishke. Here you don't need it as a Mashke. Okay, fine.